Hi, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. It's a Monday night. That means it's time for the Urban Conservative Podcast. Go ahead, give it a like, share, a follow. The Urban Conservative Podcast starts right around now.
Hey, buddy, do you like NASCAR? Do you like a Tribe Called Quest? Well, you gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Do you like manwich and nachos? Well, then you love the Urban Conservative.
Do you like guns? Do you like butter? Well, you're gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Yo, what's good, son? You like pit bulls, say? You like solving Sudoku puzzles? Then you gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Hey, buddy, if your car making a sound like this, you might want to get you some power steering fluid and check out the Urban Conservative Podcast. Are you repulsed by the idea of drag queen story time at your local library, but enjoy Carol Baskin TikTok memes? Then you would enjoy the Urban Conservative. Do you want to slap your boss and then go home and make yourself some golden brown pancakes covered in butter and freshly made warm boysenberry syrup? Then you'll love the Urban Conservative.
Welcome to the Urban Conservative Podcast, where we do not believe that avocado toast can save the planet or the world will end, because cars use gasoline. You won't hear that Wi-Fi is a basic human right, or that billionaires are secretly supervillains. Here, we do not believe that electric cars run on hopes and dreams. You also won't hear that anyone who disagrees with us is a fascist, or that socialism will make everyone rich. You won't be gender affirmed or offered any opportunity to share your preferred pronouns. If this causes you any discomfort, please rest assured that we couldn't possibly care less. For everyone else, thank you, and please stand by.
My fellow Americans, it's time for the Urban Conservative Podcast. This is without a doubt the best podcast on the internet. It's about to go down here on the Urban Conservative.
3, 2, 1.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. It's Monday night. That means it's time for the Urban Conservative Podcast. Yours truly, Abdul Ali, rocking with you. My twin brother in from a governor's event will be on with us shortly. Shouts out to Bruce Blakeman taking on Kathy Hochul up there in the Empire State of New York. As always, jump in the comment section. Let us know where you are watching and or listening from. Big shouts out to Melissa Martin talking about she loves the intro. We appreciate that, Miss Melissa. Hope to be back up your way real soon. Again, as always, you are tuned into the Urban Conservative Podcast. Our mission is to share conservative values and principles as well as the benefits of conservative policies to urban communities across this great nation of ours. We do that via this podcast. We also be in them streets in more than one way. One thing I do want to make sure that you all aware of is I actually have a primary election coming up. Yours truly, Abdul Ali, running for U.S. House District 12's Republican nomination. I am the right Republican to take on Alma Adams. Make sure that you go to aliforcongress.com. That's ALIFOR, Congress.com. Your Christian conservative veteran candidate for U.S. House District 12. Early voting is going to start on Thursday. Can y'all believe it? Primary season is already upon us. It is time to get the votes going. Shout out to Cumberland County. I see my homegirl Kathy in the building. Shouts out to her. Make sure that you check her out and everything she's got going on in Fayetteville. Jump in the comment section again. Let us know where you're watching and or listening from. Before we jump into today's show, we're going to touch a little bit about what's going on over this past weekend. You know, obviously, the Super Bowl. I watched a little bit of it. Shouts out to the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Republican women. I stopped at their Super Bowl party and hung out for about an hour. Talked to a lot of folks. Didn't really watch too much of the game, but get in the comment section. Let us know what you thought about the game. from what I understood, the Patriots were an underdog, which is not what we're used to. And then there's the whole Turning Point USA versus the Bad Bunny halftime show war, we'll call it. I mean, look, I didn't watch either halftime show. I'm guilty. I was on the road back home while the halftime show was going on. I didn't feel like watching much of it, but I heard that, and from what I'm reading, about 5 million plus people tuned into the Turning Point show. And they are claiming that Bad Bunny broke the record. Over 143 million people watched the Bad Bunny halftime Super Bowl show. Now, I personally, and y'all let me know, get in the comments, let me know. I still think nothing is touching the Michael Jackson halftime show. I still think the Michael Jackson halftime show with 130 plus million viewers with no internet. Keep in mind, Mike had no internet. There was no YouTube. There was no Rumble. There was none of this stuff going on. There was no X back when Michael Jackson did his halftime show. So I still think Michael Jackson had the best halftime show ever. Also, in other news over this weekend, the Epstein case had some developments. Ghislaine Maxwell declined to answer questions in a House deposition, prompting a, quote, very disappointing remarks from some lawmakers. Reports indicate she may seek to clear Donald Trump's name in exchange for clemency. That is a very interesting development. Also, the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer faces calls to resign over Epstein-related links. In Japan, Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi won a landslide victory in a snap election. Israeli forces did conduct a strike in southern Lebanon targeting Hezbollah, as reported by the national news agency. Olympian Lindsey Vonn underwent surgery following a crash at the Winter Olympics. And a $4.7 billion Jet Zero plant is planned for North Carolina, promising over 14,000 jobs. Health officials in North Carolina reported a potential measles exposure at a local QT. Now, look, I am a big fan. I will stop at the QT from time to time, but I am not trying to catch no measles at the QT. Let's get it together. Make sure you're getting your kids the V words. You know what I'm saying? Getting them what they're supposed to get. Before we jump all the way into the subject for today, all they have is the racism playbook. Something came across the radar, which I found to be absolutely sad. Now, folks, one of the biggest problems that we have, and I'm gonna have to cut the music off of this one because this is that egregious, is that bad. We often talk about the importance of education on this platform. We often talk about the need to make sure that we're educating our young folks in civics, in basic civics, as it were. You would think that somebody who is elected to the office of sheriff, you would think someone elected to the office of sheriff would not only know the three branches of government, but would also know the branches of government that he is as a sheriff. Now, I got to tell you, Mecklenburg County Sheriff Gary McFadden and some other elected officials were brought before the North Carolina House. And I think the caption on the screen says it absolutely right. When I say it is painful to watch, it is painful to watch a sheriff, modern day 2026 elected sheriff. Now, I want y'all to be clear on something. This isn't a Republican sheriff. This is a Democrat sheriff. I also want to be clear on another point. This ain't a white guy. Gary McFadden's a black guy. So you can't say they were being racist to him. This is a simple civics, ninth grade civics question that he's about to get asked. This hurts. Y'all listen to this.
What branch of government do you operate under?
Mecklenburg County.
He asked the man what branch of government you operate under. And he said Mecklenburg County.
What branch
Look over.
of government do you operate under, Sheriff?
Constitution of the United States.
I can't. I got to start this over. I can't.
Branch of government do you operate under?
Mecklenburg County.
What branch of government do you operate under, Sheriff?
Constitution of the United States.
Correct. That is what establishes the branches of government. I'm asking which branch you fall under.
Mecklenburg County. I'm a duly sworn Mecklenburg County Sheriff. We answer to the people of Mecklenburg County.
This was not where I was anticipating getting stuck. Are you aware of how many branches of government there are?
No.
All right, listen to me, and listen clearly. Listen very clearly. If you live in Charlotte and you elect this man again, if you live in Charlotte and you vote for this guy again, you are the problem. You can't tell me that. How can you make the argument that this is a qualified individual to be the sheriff? How is the? I am befuddled. I'm confused. I don't understand it. How do you get this far? I just got to show y'all one more time. Listen, one more time.
Branch of government do you operate under?
Mecklenburg County.
What branch of government do you operate under, Sheriff?
Constitution of the United States.
Correct. That is what establishes the branches of government. I'm asking which branch you fall under.
Mecklenburg County. I'm a duly sworn Mecklenburg County Sheriff. We answer to the people of Mecklenburg County.
This was not where I was anticipating getting stuck. Are you aware of how many branches of government there are?
No.
How can you, in all seriousness, I am beyond concerned about what's going on in the world when a sheriff doesn't know that there are 3 branches of government and that he, as a sheriff, is part of the executive branch of government. He's there to execute the laws, right? He's not a judicial. He doesn't decide the constitutionality. He's not legislative. He doesn't make any laws. He would fall as a sheriff under the executive branch. We learned probably in 5th or 6th grade, maybe even before that, that there were 3 co-equal branches of government: your legislative, your executive, and your judicial. This is the state of modern politics in these Democrat-run cities like Charlotte. Let's finish this up real quick.
Okay. For the sake of debate, I will move on and say there are 3 branches of government: legislative, executive, judicial. Of those 3, which do you believe you fall under?
I believe I fall under the last one.
Would you say it to me?
Judicial.
Okay.
Yo, look at the mayor of Charlotte sitting back there. Police chief won't put her head up. Shouts out to my man Larry Shaheen, who can't believe it. Look at his face. The brother that's sitting right up there. Look, that's my man Larry right there. He can't believe what he just heard. And this is one of the few times you actually see Gary McFadden in a uniform. He's normally got a bow tie or something like that on. But let's just hear this again.
Judicial. Of those 3, which do you believe you fall under?
I believe I fall under the last one.
Charlotte, North Carolina. Seriously, I don't know how to. This hurts. Okay, this hurts, and people wonder why they look at black folk a certain way. You wonder why we get treated the way we do, to the extent where our communities don't get the resources they get because we elect jokes. This is an absolute, this guy should resign immediately. He should not run for office again. He should be nowhere near the office of sheriff. Shouldn't be anywhere near it. Let's finish this.
Would you say it to me?
Judicial.
Okay. You are incorrect, sir. You fall under the executive.
All right, y'all. Listen, I wanted to start there. I needed to start there because you have to for a second stand in awe of the ability of people to elect foolishness. And then you have the Al Sharptons of the world, the Joy Reids of the world. You have Roly-Poly Martins of the world that the minute something goes wrong, they blame racism. Oh, they racist against the Mecklenburg County Sheriff. He doesn't even know what branch of government he's in. Okay? It is a ridiculous position for us to be in, but then you also have to, in regards to today's conversation about all they have is the racism playbook. You can't use the fact that the Mecklenburg County Sheriff doesn't know what branch of government he's in to make the case that they're doing a bang-up, fantastic job. You can't use the fact that every major city in America, almost every major city in America, and somebody get in the comments and tell me if I'm wrong, has a black city council, black mayor, black police chief, black fire chief. Everything in every major city predominantly run by black folks. But yet, when things go wrong, the only thing they can do is cry racism. We saw that happening with Wes Moore. Let's talk about this situation with Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland. Okay. Now let's look at something here because Trump has disinvited him from the governor's dinner. Okay. Trump had disinvited him from the dinner. Take a listen to how he answers this.
Before I let you go, I just want to understand what you think the reason is that you are being singled out, and Jared Polis, but from your perspective.
Did y'all catch that? You're being singled out. Well, and Jared Polis, if there are two people, you are not being singled out. Okay? You are not being singled out. This is the games that the media plays. Let's listen in.
Why are you being excluded from this dinner?
Well, I've long learned that I'm not trying to get inside over the president's psyche. It's not a good use of my time. It's not lost to me that I'm the only black governor in this country, and I find that to be particularly painful, considering the fact that the president is trying to exclude me from an organization that not only my peers have asked me to help to lead, but then also a place where I know I belong in. And so I've long learned, and I've talked to the people and the children of my state, is that I'm never in a room because of someone's benevolence nor kindness. I'm not in a room because of a social experiment. I'm in the room because I belong there, and the room was incomplete until I got there.
You're saying that he's excluding you because of the color of your skin?
Well, I don't know. I can't speak to the president's intent.
So let's be real here. The man didn't even have the cojones, the big brass cojones, to even say he's excluding me because of racism. But I want to point something out. If you go across social media, what you're not hearing people talk about is the fact that he also excluded the governor of Colorado, who happens to be a white guy. Has nothing to do with the color of his skin, but they basically play the soft racism game. Oh, well, I can't speak to his mentality, but it's not lost to me that I'm the only black governor. To say what? Y'all think for a second I don't remember when we had the first black lieutenant governor in North Carolina that the sitting governor has yet to even acknowledge that back then Roy Cooper never shook Mark Robinson's hand, never was in a room with him for more than 15 seconds, never acknowledged. And this is for you hardcore Democrat people that are out there saying Democrats are about equality. Your Democrat governor never recognized in North Carolina the fact that we had a black lieutenant governor, not once. So this idea that it's racist for Trump to exclude two Democrat governors who, by the way, are doing redistricting and are doing things way out of line, right? That's not racism. But that's what the playbook is about. This is how they keep you upset. This is how they keep you angry. This is how they keep you in an emotional state. They make everything about race, everything about race. We're going to take a real quick commercial break here on the Urban Conservative. Y'all don't go nowhere. We're having a conversation about all they have left is the race playbook. Y'all don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Hey, buddy, do you like NASCAR? Do you like a Tribe Called Quest? Well, you gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Do you like manwich and nachos? Well, then you'd love the Urban Conservative.
Do you like guns? Do you like butter? Well, you're gonna love the Urban Conservative. Yo, what's good, son? You like pit bulls, say? You like solving Sudoku puzzles? Then you gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Hey, buddy, if your car making a sound like this, you might want to get you some power steering fluid and check out the Urban Conservative podcast. Are you repulsed by the idea of drag queen story time at your local library, but enjoy Carol Baskin TikTok memes? Then you would enjoy the Urban Conservative. Do you want to slap your boss and then go home and make yourself some golden brown pancakes covered in butter and freshly made warm boysenberry syrup? Then you'll love the Urban Conservative.
If you're a little over Cardi B and you're repulsed by the thought of Hogmaw, check out the Urban Conservative. You ready? If you think the earth is flat and always on that weird side of YouTube, check out the Urban Conservative. They'll set you straight.
If you're in a chasing dopey and you love solid fish and festival, check out the Urban Conservative.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. You're back on the Urban Conservative Podcast. Yours truly, Abdul Ali, one half of the TUC twins, rocking with you here on a Monday night. Make sure you get a content, a like, share, all that fantastic stuff. If you want to sponsor a commercial here on the Urban Conservative, don't hesitate to reach out to us, tuconservative@gmail.com, or you can send us a direct link. We're having a conversation tonight about all they have left is the race card. And somebody jumped in, sent me a text message and asked a very important question. Was Trump racist when he took Jennifer Hudson and her family in? In the wake of a family tragedy, Jennifer Hudson received a helping hand from a very unlikely source, Donald Trump, right? This is long before he announced he was running for president or anything like that. Did it out of the kindness of his heart. So I always ask the question, when you see situations like this or situations like Donald Trump letting Mandela use his plane or making sure that Bishop Desmond Tutu got where he needed to go, was that racist? Was, all the help he did for inner city youth when you had Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton praising Donald Trump, what was it about him that was racist at that point is the question. And then you also have to ask yourself this very important question, too, for people like Joy Reid and Al Sharpton and Roland Martin and all of these people that tend to frame everything in the lens of race. Why? Why in a country where you had a back-to-back, I'll call them black because that's what the black crew does, you had a back-to-back black president. You had a back-to-back black secretaries of state. You had a black chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. You have two, matter of fact, black sitting Supreme Court justices. I don't care if you like her politics or her positions on the court. She's still a black woman. You have, again, as I mentioned before, in almost every major city in America, you have black leadership. So where's this idea coming from that in 2026, somehow, some way, racism is stopping something? Everybody on my screen right now is wealthy. Wes Moore, Joy Reid, Hakeem Jeffries, Al Sharpton, who never pays his taxes, by the way, and Roland Martin are all wealthy individuals with platforms in positions of air finger quote authority and power. How do you get there? And the biggest kind of slap in the face, and I see this all the time, is, and especially if you're a right-leaning, black, Hispanic, right-leaning person, you get called Uncle Tom. You get called all of these different names for saying, wait a minute, I don't know if I'm going to chalk this particular situation up to racism. The video, let's talk about it. The video of Obama and the Obamas and everybody else as jungle animals. Did we think that was a racist video? Now, first and foremost, I don't think that was a good move. If indeed it was a staffer who posted that video, that staffer need to be fired because that was not a good move. However, the question becomes, was it racist? And I'm going to tell y'all, absolutely not. First and foremost, if you's a grown person, how do you have time to be offended at a cartoon? With everything that's going on in the world, you got time to be mad about a cartoon? And then here's the other question I got to ask. They put Hakeem Jeffries in the video as a meerkat. How come nobody's mad at the meerkat? How come nobody's mad that Kamala Harris was a turtle or the Pritzker guy was a what do you call it, elephant? How come nobody's mad about any of those things? I will tell you what I think is more racist than that cartoon. What I think is more racist than that cartoon is all of these fast food commercials that got people dancing around and hip hopping and putting the Big Mac on a turntable and the chicka get my Big Mac. Like I find the minstrel show of selling chicken, fast food chicken, to be insulting. Yeah, I find that, you can't have a black person in major media today and it's run by the left, but you only have two type of black people. You either got the thug or you got the extremely flaming homosexual. You don't have a regular black guy. I'm offended at that. I think that's where the real racism is. And look, at the end of the day, what it really boils down to is I can turn the channel. I can turn the TV off. What these folks do is they make it to where black folks, especially black folks, okay? Nobody is a victim of a systemic issue in 2026, but they make it to where a lot of these folks feel like they're oppressed. We see it all the time. We hear it all the time. If you're a black Republican or right-leaning person who's run for office, you hear it all the time about how oppressed people are and how bad they got it. And I think to myself, you got it bad in that Mercedes-Benz. You got it bad with that iPhone 16. You got it bad with all that money in your bank account. You got it bad with your passport. You can go to and fro as you wish. You got it bad because you can live wherever you can afford to buy a house. There's nothing stopping you. You got it bad when you own your business, right? But then let's talk about the fact of the matter is there's a class of folks, and I'm going to find who said it. Hold on, let me find it. Class of people who make a living on racism, quote. Who said that? Hold on. Booker T. Washington said this in the early 20th century. There's another class of colored people. Matter of fact, let me just share this with y'all because he said it. I found a Reddit post, so we just shared a Reddit post with y'all real quick. He actually said it better, and I don't want to misquote him, but this is the fact of the matter right here. That is the certified fact of the matter right there, that there is another class of colored people who make a business of keeping the troubles, the wrongs, and the hardships of the Negro race before the public. Having learned that they are able to make a living out of their troubles, they have grown into the settled habit of advertising their wrongs, partly because they want sympathy and partly because it pays. Some of these people do not want the Negro to lose his grievances because they do not want to lose their jobs. I could not have said it better. And who does that sound like to y'all? Who does that sound like? Sounds like Al Sharpton to me. Sounds like Joy Reid to me. Sounds like some of these congressional black caucus members to me. Sounds like Representative Al the Caveman Green to me. Sounds like Representative Alma Adams to me. It sounds like these people will not let the grievances of the past go. I dare say slavery is going on right now in this world, and they're not saying anything about it. The other part to this, and I'm gonna couch this in the fact that it's insulting for these folks to say things like requiring an ID to vote is racist. If requiring an ID to register to vote is racist, then any and everything that requires an ID is racist. It's racist to have an ID to get a bank account. It's racist to have an ID to open up a checking account. It's racist. Okay. That's the bottom line. But this is the ridiculousness of it. So you mean to tell me black folks can survive slavery? They can survive the trip across the transatlantic slave trade. You can survive all of that, but that pesky odd DMV, you just can't figure out how to get it. Matter of fact, I don't even know anybody that doesn't have an ID. You understand what I'm saying? It's beyond ridiculous, and I think it's a sign of desperation that whenever, like, and especially true because CNN said it. You know, you got to make sure it's true because CNN said it. But it is a fact that Democrats are underwater right now. And what do they do when they get underwater? What do they do when their policy ideas aren't moving amongst the people the right way? When they don't have any real policy ideas, they trot out the claims of racism. Well, fortunately, there are a lot of folks who are not falling for the banana in the tailpipe, as it were. We are moving forward. We are looking past this, and we are going to continue to be out in the community and sharing with folks that they do not have to fall victim to the gaslighting, to the race baiting. You don't have to fall victim to it, because that is all they have left is the racism playbook. But with that, y'all, you've been checking out another episode of the Urban Conservative Podcast with yours truly, Abdul Ali. Shouts out to my twin brother, Raheem Architect Soto, who is out on the ground attending an event for Bruce Blakeman, who's running for governor of the great state of New York. Again, as always, make sure you support my campaign. If you live in or around Charlotte, North Carolina, I'm running for U.S. House District 12's Republican nomination. Would really appreciate your support for that and your support for our podcast, ladies and gentlemen. If you have a question, make sure you get at us on any of our social medias. Again, tuconservative.com at Gmail. tuconservative@gmail.com is the way to get a hold of us. We will see you live and direct next Monday night. We got an amazing guest. Matter of fact, I don't even want to spill the beans, but we got a true hip hop legend coming on the show to talk about music, to talk about politics, to talk about life, the direction of hip hop, all that good stuff. Very, very surprise guest. Y'all find out about it on all our social media. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Abdul Ali. You've been checking out the Urban Conservative Podcast. Y'all have a